One, two, is this on? I've been talking a lot about tabletop role playing games on Fridays. I've mentioned board games, but there's another form of gaming that I am interested in that I decided to touch on today video games. I don't remember the exact order of when this happened, but when I was a young child, my mother worked at GC Murphy's before it became Murphy's Mart, which I don't think exists anymore. Way back in the back of the store, they put a Pac Man machine in between the service desk and the restrooms. And I loved it. I could play on that for just a few dollars for my mother's entire shift. Across the street and up the hill, there was another store. I forget what it was that had Space Invaders, and I somehow ended up with a Pong console from a yard sale in my neighborhood. So I guess it's true that I've always liked video games. I actually first got into computers because there were games on them. Games on the Commodore 64 or the Apple IIe attracted my attention. I had a Radio Shack TRS-80, and the game Dungeons of Daggereth helped me learn to type. The game had a text bar at the bottom, and to perform actions, you had to type the action in. So your character's speed was directly tied to your typing speed. You attacked as fast as you could type the phrase attack left or attack right, depending on if your weapon was in your left or right hand. I always played a left handed adventurer because I could type the word left faster than the word right. I remember talking to someone at a gathering in the late 2000s, as she was lamenting the fact that she didn't have a degree, didn't even know how to type, and her job was being overrun by college grads using computers while she was still, doing things with basically pen and paper. I mentioned that I got much better at typing playing this particular video game and recommended looking for something similar. And she said something just extremely derogatory about video games in general, and then stopped talking to me altogether, wandered to another part of the party, and basically told other people how dumb I was. This was unexpected because video games are far less of a social stigma now than they were back in the 80s. The industry has always been huge and profitable, but that profit came from quarters from Gen X. And then in the 90s and 2000s, those quarters became $50 bills as Gen X established themselves in the workforce but maintained their childhood hobbies. I have a number of video game consoles still to this day. I have replaced my ColecoVision. I still have my Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I still have PlayStations 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I've always played games on my various computers, all the way back to Windows 3.1. But across all of these, one of my favorite video games is a little nothing game from the 90s that got my attention because the art was done by Don Martin of Mad Magazine fame. It was a Tycoon game from Microprose, and I was already a fan of the format. I think I picked it up for $10 at a store like GameStop before there was a GameStop. GameStop was established in '99. This would have been before that. But unlike most of the Tycoon games, like Roller Coaster Tycoon or Railroad Tycoon or any of those, Pizza Tycoon added a mechanic of underworld prestige. In addition to running a pizza shop, you could supplement your cash with jobs for two local organized crime organizations. These start out as just take this thing here at this time, and eventually get to where you are importing rocket launchers and storing them in your freezer. The game is difficult to play because of the copy protection built into it. You see, back in the 90s, games came in their entirety on disk, which would then be installed on your computer. No internet necessary. So there were manual copy protections built into many games. Most games came with a wheel that the game would prompt you for a code, and you spun the wheel to match up the two codes that the game gave you, and then the code you needed would show in a window on the wheel. Another way a game might have security was to require you to perform an action in game that was only explained in the rulebook or sometimes even on the box. Pizza Tycoon did this version of copy protection. The game came with a recipe book. If you didn't make and sell these standard pizza recipes, eventually no customers would visit your stores, and no amount of mob involvement would keep you from going bankrupt. And this was not explained anywhere in the game. I found out by accident by making the standard recipes out of boredom one day. Before that, I had just been making pizzas, custom pizzas, out of the popular trends that the game provided. And I couldn't figure out why I wasn't getting customers. There were a lot of moving parts in the game, which I enjoyed. Every ingredient could be bought from half a dozen different suppliers, all for different costs and at different qualities. Better ingredients lasted longer before they had to be thrown out. There were different suppliers of furniture and decor. You could rent or purchase a shop. You could expand to multiple stores in the city or go to other cities if you got enough money. You could hire cooks, wait staff, or managers, all of whom had different competence levels. If your personal energy got low, you could go on vacation. The game had just a lot going on. You could talk to your customers by clicking on them. You could punish or forgive your employees for being late or making mistakes. And everything you did had an effect on the game performance. For example, you punish your employees too much and they'll quit. You forgive them too much and they take advantage of you. You send the wrong person on training and they demand more money than you can afford. But if you don't train people, then you might cap out the number of customers you can serve in a day. There were a lot of decisions, and every decision mattered. The game is available on Steam currently under its original name of Pizza Connection, as was known in Germany when Cybernetic Corporation released it in '94. There were sequels, but I've never played any of them. And my daughter once surprised me with a copy of this as a Christmas present that came with a DOS emulator so I could play it again because it wouldn't run on any of the modern computers. I guess so far as computer games go, this is probably my favorite. I have other favorites on consoles and different favorites for different consoles. I don't really think it's fair to compare a PlayStation 4 game to a Nintendo Entertainment System game, for example. So I have different favorites for each. What are some of your favorite video games? What is your opinion on them in general? Does knowing someone plays video games make you think less or more of them, like the lady I mentioned meeting at the party? Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. And if it turns out a lot of us like the same games, maybe I'll do a deep dive into one of them on an upcoming Friday.